Okay, so the ground's kind of muddy, so I don't want to put these tie-outs on while these hammocks are hanging. So I'll show you this. This plastic piece is called a Beastie D, and I'll show you where they're located at on the hammock. But this is one of your tie-outs. You see it's got a hook there, and that hook just snaps into the Beastie D like that, and then you got the short end of the cord here. If you want to tighten up the line, hold that, tilt this up parallel to the ground, and then pull on the cord, and as soon as you let go it tightens up. And then if you want to loosen it, just grab the long, lift it back up so that this piece is parallel to the ground, and pull on it to loosen it and let go, and as soon as you let go it locks up again. And of course they're removable if you want to use them or not use them. Just take them, snap them off and on. So just wanted to show you that before we got out there, because like I said, the ground's kind of muddy and I don't want to stake these to the ground. And there's loops on the other ends that they used to stake to the ground. Alright, so your head end is gray, foot end is black on both these hammocks. And double-ended stuff sack, all you got to do is put your tree strap, attach one end of it and everything, and then open up one end of the stuff sack and drag it across the other tree. I'm trying to beat the weather and everything, so I probably won't film setting them up and everything, but if you look back at any other videos that we have on these, you can see, you know, how the double-ended stuff sack works and stuff. But trying to beat the weather and everything, so I'm just gonna get them out there, get them set up and film them. So I got your hammocks out here, and before I give you a look at them, a few things I wanted to say while I was thinking about it. You're taking these on a trip on the Suwannee, and a kayaking trip, something, you know, backpacking trip, anything. The last thing you want to do after a long day of paddling or hiking or whatever is to try to you know, figure out how to set up your gear, or, you know, you're just tired, want to get it set up and call it a day. So I would definitely, between now and your trip, try to get out there and set these up several times, kind of get really familiar with them, get used to them. We had that one video on how to properly set up a hammock. We have another video on the site selection, you know, make sure the trees are the right distance and all that kind of stuff. Take a look at those. Of course, if you get out there, Dale, if I remember right, you haven't used this type of hammock. If you have any problems, Dale's familiar with it. Actually, Dale was the first person to buy one of our Grizzly hammocks, so he's really familiar with them. And I would definitely recommend carrying some tenacious tape, and there's a company called Gear Aid. I'll send you a link to the people that own these two hammocks, and I'll also post a link in the description below the video for anybody that's watching it. But they make a tenacious tape that's great. If you get a tear or something in your hammock fabric, you can put that tape on both sides of the material to repair it, and it so that way you don't blow out your hammock. And you could still, if you use that tape to make a repair, the hammock, you know, you could still be used. And then I also have a repair patch for bug nets, so I'll put a link to that too. And because last thing you want to do is get out, you know, on a couple-day trip and then have something go wrong. You know, you get a hole in your bug net or a hole in your hammock and have issues. So definitely pick up some of that before you trip. And I think that was it. I was mainly just wanting to cover those two repair items. The videos we have, you know, we've also got the videos like on using the cinch buckles and everything. Also a video on how to properly care for a hammock. One of the things I discuss in that is, you know, checking, make sure you don't have anything sticking out of your pockets or anything sharp on you or whatever when you're getting in the hammock and stuff. And it's always a good idea to take your shoes off before you get in there. You just don't want to get any tears on it. I mean, I can build it as good as I can, but ultimately you're just laying on fabric, so you know, be really mindful about that. So I'll take a look at these hammocks now, show you what we got going, what we ended up with here. Okay, so before I forget about it, those beastie D's I was talking about, there's one here and there's one here. So you can put one of those pullouts, you know, and works the same way on both sides. You can put one here and one there and really kind of stretch it out. The bad thing about that is with your tarp in there, now when you get out of the hammock, you got a line over here and a line over here, and it can be hard to get, you know, when you're squeezing underneath your tarp to get through there. So what I recommend, if you want to use the pullouts, like if, say for example, you're laying head right and foot left, I would use the pullout on the head right and then pull out on the foot left, and then not put one down here, and then when you can go in and out from your tarp that way, and that way you're not tripping over lines. Some people like to pull out, some people don't. I've used them a couple times, but I generally don't use them. I'm fine without them. The other two, you got your underquilt hooks, and the lower one is better if you have like a 3/4 length underquilt, and the top one is better if you have a full underquilt. Have these clips on here. I like to use them like if I'm, you know, if it's been raining or something, I just want to hang up my jacket for a minute, let it kind of dry out. You got to be careful because your wet jacket is now laying on your hammock and everything. But so, you know, just hang random things on there. If you don't want to use them, well, I guess you got 4 little keychains or something. There's one on each side of the head, one on each side of the foot. Got your toggles here. You can roll up one side of the net or both sides of the net. When you roll it up, the toggles are on the inside. They'll come out and go through this loop. I've got the other hammock set up with one side rolled up. I'll show you a little bit better look at that. And got zippers. They're YKK zippers on both sides. You can get in and out whichever side you want to. I did all the reinforcing. I know from the videos you probably saw it, but all the reinforcing stitching on the bug net and on the hammock itself, so it's nice and sturdy. And that zigzag stitch runs on across the top of it too. The head in and foot in. First stuff sack. The stuff sack, you just leave it on. What I normally do, if you've seen from any of my other videos, I attach one side to the tree, and then I open up one end of the stuff sack, and then just pull the hammock out across to the other tree where I've already got a strap hooked up. Your head end is gray, so you can see on the bag, when it's still in the bag, you can see which end is your head end and foot end, and also the name tag is on the head end. So why would it matter which end is your head end and foot end? You know, it's built so you can lay either way. But what we got, and I'll show you on this hammock. So this hammock here, like I said, I got the bug net up, which is nice to be able to roll the bug net up out of your way so you can get in, you know, get your stuff situated in a hammock, or if you just want to hang out in it for a little while, the bugs aren't bad, you can just roll up the net, and you can roll up both sides if you wanted to. But so the head end and the foot end, so it's got these little rings on the inside, and you can attach different things, like you know, I keep a little bag with my glasses on there and everything. If you attach something that you want, I got some threads. If you attach something that you want to leave attached into your hammock, like I said, a little bag for my glasses, I keep it. I sleep with my head on the right side, so I keep it on my head left side. So whenever I set up my hammock, and if I want to be facing a certain way when I lay down, having the gray, you know, the gray is your head in, and you can see it when it's in your stuff sack, so you'll be able to set up your hammock right the first time instead of getting it up and then realizing, oh, the bag is down there and I want it up here, and you know, that's what it's for. That's why knowing which end is the head end and which end is the foot end. So as you you know, get, like I said, if you're attaching little bags or doing different things to it, you know, you can know which is the head end and foot end. And same thing on this BSTDs. As far as laying diagonally, I think, like I said earlier, I think if I remember right, you haven't used these type of hammocks before. The diagonal, what I kind of do, what I find works best for me is, like when you first get in a hammock, if you're laying straight in it, you know, it's pretty comfortable. But as you turn and twist sideways, so you're at an angle, you'll definitely find that sweet spot. And as a guide, like I keep my right shoulder, because I sleep with my head right, I keep my right shoulder kind of right in here by this BSTD, and then the BSTD on the other side, I have my my feet down towards that. And so that's kind of, because a lot of people, whenever they first get in a hammock like this, you tell them like turn sideways and they just barely turn, but you can get a pretty good diagonal. And this is where I usually land, is I have my kind of shoulder kind of where this BSTD is for the pull out, and then way down there at the foot end is the other one. So just it doesn't matter, just whatever works for you to be comfortable. That's the only thing that matters. But that's just where I find works for me. So I'm gonna get these sewn up. Everything just like always, you know, it's got double stitching and stuff. I could attach this triangle with just the one row of stitching, but I put the second one on there just to make sure got all the reinforcements on yours too. You know, just make sure they're nice and strong. Plenty of clearance between the fabric and the zipper so it doesn't snag or anything. It's just I lost what I was gonna say, but pretty nice looking hammocks. I think this is only about the third one I've made, third or fourth in this color, and I like it. I mean, I tend to, you know, want to be more stealth in camping, but as far as looks, though, I really like this white fabric. Pretty nice. And of course I like that because that's the same fabric mine's made out of. So anyway, your stuff sacks are silk poly, and I did get the matching silk poly for this hammock. And so it's waterproof. So like right now the ground's kind of damp because we had snow out here a day or two ago, and if you needed to lay it on a damp ground, it'll protect the hammock some. You know, of course it's not waterproof because got an opening there at the end, on each end, but I mean, so you can't submerge it or anything, but you know, it does have it. The material itself is waterproof and will kind of protect your hammock. And that's it. They turned out pretty nice. I got the pleats in there like I always do. I used to make them where they were nice and pretty and just straight and everything, but then putting these pleats in there, it gives a little bit of extra give when you get towards the, you know, when you're really turning sideways and getting up near that zipper. It gives a little bit more give in the fabric, so it's not tight up against your head, but it allows me to do that without making the net just really big and sloppy and in your face. So it's been working out pretty good. I think when you guys get down there and see Dale, his was made the old way where it's pretty tight, and last time I talked to him he kind of mentioned that it kind of, I don't know, he can kind of feel that resistance against his head. So but since I made his, I've changed, started doing these pleats, so I think it makes a difference. Anyway, I hope you enjoy them. Hope you have a good trip down there on the Suwannee. I definitely want to take that trip one of these days, so I'm definitely kind of jealous. But hope you enjoy them. Like I said, get out there, set them up as much as you can between now and your trip. Get really familiar with them. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Just give me a call or whatever. And have a good time. Enjoy them. I did forget to point out that the Wasteland hammock had the black ridge line, that you wanted, and the white hammock had the gray ridgeline, and also the cordage for the ridgeline and for the cinch buckles and all that stuff is am steel. That 7/64 inch am steel is rated at 1,600 pounds, and your tree straps are rated at 3,000 pounds. So forgot to throw that in there.